Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental. This idea that resilience isn't just something you're born with, like a personality trait. Our sources are pretty clear, actually. Real resilience, that grit, it's not just about toughing it out. It seems to be a dynamic, learned process, deeply biological.
Exactly. And that's the mission for this dive, right? To show you how your own biology supports that adaptability, how it learns.
It's genuinely transformative stuff when you think about it.
It is. We're looking at the core biology of learned resilience, the actual nuts and bolts, you could say, that let you turn adversity into, well, not just endurance, but energy, insight even.
So it's more than just bouncing back.
Much more. And it seems to rely on sort of 5 key biological systems working together, circuits, chemistry, the whole lot.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the brain's hardware, the physical circuits.
Makes sense. So when we talk about control circuits, the main goal is really efficiency when things get tough, under pressure.
And the core interaction is between the amygdala, your threat detector.
Right, the amygdala. And the big boss, the prefrontal cortex, the PFC, that's your executive control center.
So the PFC needs to sort of manage the amygdala.
Precisely. Resilience really hinges on the PFC stepping in effectively, regulating those amygdala alarm bells. It stops that initial fear kick from becoming, chronic overwhelm, hyperarousal.
Okay, but how? How does the PFC manage that? Is it just willpower?
Well, it's more about the physical connections, the connectivity between them and how quickly they communicate. Stronger pathways mean better regulation.
And stress affects other areas too, right? I was struck by the research on the hippocampus, the memory and context center.
Oh, absolutely. Chronic uncontrolled stress can actually shrink it, reduce its volume.
Sounds pretty bad.
It's not ideal, certainly. But the really fascinating part, highlighted in the sources, is the reversal, that shrinkage. It's often not permanent.
It can be reversed.
Yeah. The sources emphasize neurogenesis, that's the creation of new neurons, plus putting yourself in enriched, challenging environments. These things can actively help restore hippocampal volume.
So recovery isn't just passive waiting. It's an active biological learning process.
Exactly. Driven by intentional effort, growth.
Yeah.
It's biology in action.
Okay, so if circuits are the hardware, neurochemistry must be the software signals, the messages running on that hardware.
Good analogy. Yeah. Resilience seems to need a very precise, adaptable kind of neurochemical rhythm.
And this is where things like motivation come in biologically. You mentioned dopamine.
Dopamine is crucial here. It's not just about feeling good, it actually wires the brain.
How so?
Well, every time you successfully navigate something difficult or push through learning something uncomfortable, dopamine reinforces those specific neural pathways. It essentially teaches your brain, hey, this effort, this challenge, it leads to reward, growth.
It connects effort with positive outcomes neurologically.
You got it. And speaking of measurable chemistry, let's look at cortisol, the stress hormone.
Right. The sources mention something specific about the cortisol response in resilient people.
Yes, a key difference. In resilient individuals, their cortisol response curve tends to be steeper and shorter.
Steeper and shorter. Meaning
they get that necessary surge of energy to deal with the stressor, but then they clear the cortisol out of their system much faster, more completely.
So they don't stay stuck in that fight or flight mode.
Exactly. They recover chemically much more efficiently.
Okay, so moving down even smaller to the cellular level, this ability to recover, to learn, it implies the brain is constantly rewiring itself. Synaptic plasticity.
Absolutely. That's the foundation. The brain has to be able to physically adapt its connections based on experience.
Even under pressure, it can sort of patch and upgrade itself on the fly.
That's a great way to put it. And a key player in this constant reorganization is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
BDNF. Sounds important.
It is. Think of it like fertilizer for your neurons. It's vital for their survival, maintenance, and for learning new things.
And can we influence BDNF levels?
Yes, and this is critical for you listening. BDNF levels go up with things you can actively do. Physical exercise, experiencing novelty, and focused practices like mindfulness.
So a resilient brain is literally stronger because it stays flexible, adaptable.
Precisely. It's constantly optimizing itself through that plasticity.
Okay, let's link this internal biology back to, well, practical health. Managing stress day to day. You mentioned the allostatic system.
Right. Resilience, from this perspective, is about how efficiently your allostatic system works. That's your body's system for maintaining stability, or allostasis, through change.
And when that system gets overloaded,
That leads to what we call allostatic load. It's the cumulative wear and tear from chronic stress, like constantly redlining your car engine.
Leads to breakdown eventually.
It does. Resilient physiology avoids this high load by having these rapid recovery cycles we talked about.
Can we actually see that?
Yeah.
Measure it?
We can. A common way is through heart rate variability, or HRV. Resilient individuals tend to show faster normalization of their HRV after stress. And tools like biofeedback actually teach people to consciously influence these responses.
So you can learn to regulate your own heart-brain coherence, speed up recovery.
You absolutely can. It's a trainable skill.
And thinking about long-term practices, mindfulness comes up a lot. Is it just about feeling calmer?
It's much more than that. Long-term mindfulness practice induces actual structural changes in the brain.
Like what?
Like increased cortical thickness, particularly in that key area, the PFC, and greater hippocampal volume, basically strengthening the hardware we discussed earlier.
Okay.
And functionally, it helps quiet down the default mode network, the DMN.
It is?
That's the brain network active during mind-wandering rumination, often looping negative thoughts. By downregulating the DMN, mindfulness reduces that mental churn, freeing up resources for actual problem solving and adaptation.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the big takeaway here?
It really seems to be that resilience is this biological learning loop. It's far less about some innate toughness you either have or don't.
And much more about conscious, active adaptability, learning through experience.
That's the heart of it. Each time you face adversity, it triggers these biological cascades, hormones, neurotransmitters, plasticity. But the key is processing that experience through reflection, awareness. That's what strengthens your future adaptability.
So you're actively participating in your own biological strengthening.
Exactly. Biologically speaking, resilience is kind of the art of consciously riding that stress wave rather than getting drowned by it. You know, where simple grit just endures, this learned resilience actually transforms you, changes your structure.
A powerful idea.
So maybe the final thought for you to consider is this. If resilience truly is a trainable skill rooted in your physical wiring, what one small biological nudge, maybe some novelty, a bit of exercise, even just 5 minutes of mindful reflection, will you consciously give your system today to start strengthening that future, more resilient self?